Yeah, I mean, I think you bring a veteran guy like Eric Stokes. You know, he's at Green Bay for 4 years. We brought him here. Um, so he's really the strength from an experience standpoint, along with Darnay Holmes. But I think the biggest thing for us is it's a new scheme, new techniques that we're teaching, and it's all about competition. So it's about what those guys do on the field, how they perform. That's Coach Carroll. You know, that's how we play defense, and our culture. So I think I got a lot of good guys. They're competing. It's been a good offseason so far, but it's going to take a while to determine how that's all going to sort itself out.
Darren Porter.
Very talented. You know, he went to Iowa State as a receiver, and then he got moved. He really played basically a year defensive back. So he's still learning the game, but just from a size, speed standpoint or prototype, he's a smart player. You know, different playing offense. He understands what they're doing. So that helps him in terms of what he's doing defensively. But I think the sky's the limit for him. He's very talented. I'm glad I got him.
When you look at young kid going to try to do something, what sticks out to you early about him, and what's your first initial? I realize it's only initial.
Instinctive, but learning to work like a pro. Humble, need to keep his confidence high. Knows how to play football a little bit. That's kind of my initial.
Rooms are different. They all have their own. Every year it's a different personality. You have a lot of strong, quality men of character in that room. Different personalities, but bedrock men of character to lead all these young pups. How big of a blessing is it for you as a coach? Man, I've got all these seasoned guys, the Butlers, the Christians, the Maxx, to lead these young pups and try to make them dogs.
Yeah, it's great. You know, it's great. You're always trying to protect the room in that way, have guys at each position that can train the younger guys. You know, we talked about Christian, we talked about Maxx, even Malcolm. Now it's like developing the other guys. Like even Jonah's now a second-year player helping out with JJ and Tonka. So you're just trying to repeat that process over and over.
But there's a few players on the roster that you've already coached in previous stints. I believe Lonnie Johnson might be one of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and can you just talk about just the growth that you've seen in him as a player now being here at this stage of his career versus when you first got him?
Well, so obviously I scouted him coming out of college, but he came out as a corner, you know. So you know, you obviously like the size, the speed, the athleticism, and all the other type of stuff. And I was coaching with Arizona, and we went down to Tennessee. And I get on the field, and I'm like, hey, that's Lonnie Johnson over there. I thought he was with the Texans at the time, you know. And I'm like, oh shoot, they moved into safety. And I was with New Orleans at the time, and I'm like, no, I was with Arizona at the time. And I'm like, and so I start watching the tape, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, man, this dude will be. And you know, so I look for corners that have the size and the traits you look for at a safety position, because I believe that safety should have corner-like feet, instincts, hands, ball skills, all that type of stuff. So that's kind of what I look for. And I myself was one of those who played college and played corner in college and moved to safety in the NFL. So I was looking for those traits, and he just happened to pop up. And when he popped up, I jumped on him immediately, and then I just got an opportunity to see how physically gifted he is. But he's always played corner. So the deal with corners is they just say, hey, cover your man, you know what I'm saying? But when you move somebody inside, when you move a corner from outside to inside, now it starts to change, because now you got to have a little bit more peripheral vision and things of that nature. You got to be able to read your keys as opposed to just step and kick or, you know, backpedal on the third and break and drive. So that process I picked up with him when I came to New Orleans, and I was just sitting there saying, man, I could turn this guy into a if I had the time or somebody gave me an opportunity to work with him, I could turn him into one hell of a football player. And I'm thankful I get that opportunity right now, because he's going to help us in a tremendous fashion.
Pete Carroll obviously has a long history of forming good defenses and specifically great DB rooms like the Legion of Boom. How does that just raise the bar for a coach like you to meet that standard?
What was interesting is obviously I had an opportunity to watch that and study that defense for years, and to be a part of seeing how Pete built that I guess Legion of Boom. it's just interesting. It's real interesting. So I'm excited. I'm up for the challenge, and I'm hoping that we can mimic to a certain degree some of their success that they had in their secondary. Oh, well, I'm an Iowa State alumni, so I love the pick. I love the guy. I think he's got a lot of physical gifts. He's got the length, the speed. So he is, and he is taking, to me, big leaps, like from 1 week to the next, as far as the coaching and the training and all those type of things, simply because of the fact that he just moved over, but basically from being a wide receiver to the defense side of the ball late in his career in college, and he is making tremendous jumps in my opinion. He's got a chance to be a really good player.